What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Umarex Markpoint. Alright guys, so this is the new Umarex Markpoint 177 caliber. This is a break barrel air pistol. We're going to take it right out of the box today. I'm going to give you a couple of stats and information right here off of the box, and then we'll take it right out. So this is Umarex Markpoint. This is one stroke cocking mechanism for the break barrel, up to 395 feet per second with a non-lead pellet. Okay, it's going to be an alloy type pellet there. Not with your lead pellets. Your lead pellets are going to move much slower. It's got the break barrel action, 1 round capacity. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take this out and then have a closer look at it. Alright, package aside there. Initial impression, this thing is incredibly light. As a matter of fact, I would dare to say this is pretty much right along standard weight for a lot of the CO2 pellet pistols that are out there, and for it to be such a long barrel, break barrel, I'd say it actually is incredibly light. The grip is a little bit wide. It's not very wide that way. It feels pretty comfortable, but it is pretty wide as far as palm of the hand. That may be better for some of you larger shooters. It has a very large trigger guard here. This has the grip safety on the back here, so that you can just depress that and it should be able to take your gun off safety. You also have manual safety located right up here, and that thing is pretty stiff, so that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. I mean, taking it off safety is difficult. Taking it off safety is easy. Putting it onto safety, I mean, you're using quite a bit of pounds of pressure there just to get that locked in. We have open sights from the rear here to the front. These are non-adjustable. They're not fiber optic. They're just basically have this little bit of red plastic there for the rear sight, and a non-colored fixed front sight there, blade front sight. Let's see how the action feels on it. Okay, that's pretty easy to cock down, and it has a bit of clicking to it, so it still feels smooth, but it has a little bit of grit to it, so that you kind of feel like you're in a couple of different stages with it there. Let's see how this does. A lot of people don't like dry fire things, but not a big deal. Wow, that's incredibly loud actually, and had a really long trigger on it. Let's try it one more time. That is actually probably just about as loud as some of my PCP air pistols. So the cocking motion is really smooth. It does have plenty to be able to grab onto up here. Barrel looks like it's got this double O-ring seal on it, so it looks really nice and reliable. The trigger is a bit long, but again, it is a break barrel air pistol, so you kind of want to get used to shooting break barrel stuff like this. That's incredibly loud. Let's put some pellets to it. Alright guys, so here's the Umarex Markpoint. And we have a variety of different pellets to shoot through this thing today. It does have a nice smooth braking motion on it. It is very lightweight, so with all the polymer construction there, you're definitely getting a whole lot. The grip safety here is actually not bad at all. It seems to disengage pretty well, but we're going to test that and find out how well exactly it works. We have a variety of pellets that we're going to send through this thing today. We're going to check with the 6.79 grain Predator GTOs here to see if we get to those velocities of 395 feet per second. We have some standard 8 grain FX pellets. We have some H&N Hornet, which is 9.5. We have some heavier pellets here. We have JSB Exact Monster 13.43. We also have the JSB Beast 16.2 grain. We have a 10 grain JSB Hades there, and we also have the standard 7.9 grain Crossman Premier hollow points. Let's go ahead and get the chronograph out and get some numbers. Alright everybody, we have the Umarex Markpoint here. We have the start out Crossman 7.9 grain Crossman Premier hollow point, 7.9 grain pellet, and we'll just start with this and see how fast these shoot over the chronograph. Alright, here we go. Break it down, insert your pellet there. Got our safety off here. I think we're ready to go. I'm going to attempt to see what kind of group I can also make at the same time from right here. 7.9 grain. I'll be honest with you guys, this open sight is absolutely terrible. It's very large, but I'm going to use my best ability here. We got no reading on that. Let's try it again. "285 feet per second. Let's go again here. It's got a very heavy trigger. No reading, perhaps 285. Now that one went right into the same hole as the last one, so we're going to see if we can't keep that accuracy up here. "231 feet per second. Let's go one more here. "231 feet per second. Okay, next we're going to go with the 8.4 grain FX pellets. Try it again. 276. 293 feet per second. Okay, we have a 9.4 grain H&N Hornet. Let's see how these shoot here. Not 293 feet per second. "206 feet per second. We'll just try for one more. One more here. Alright, moving on up some more. We have JSB Hades 10.3 grain pellet here. So we are definitely on the very low side with velocities. This is just again to demonstrate some numbers for us here. Let's see what we got. Well, that one definitely hit dead center. Seemed most accurate so far with the sights. Let's try again. 256 feet per second. Went up in velocity there. Let's see what happens. A little more back pressure on that seal there. Might be helping it seal in a little bit. Keeping some air pressure behind it here, getting us a little bit higher velocities. Let's try again. 258. 259. They're not really shooting the most accurate, but they are still on target. See if we can get another one up here. 257 feet per second. Let's just do one more here with the JSB Hades. (261 feet per second with 10.3 grain pellet). A JSB 13.3 grain pellet. This is a really heavy pellet. Let's see what happens with these velocities as we load in a much larger pellet here. (157 feet per second). Moving really slow, and it looked like it had a lot of wobbling going on with it, perhaps. 158. However, these are shooting and grouping the best so far. Let's keep it going here, see what happens. 155 feet per second. 155 still. No reading on that one. Let's give it one more shot here. See what we get. Okay, this is the last of our heavy ammunition. JSB Beast 16.20 grain pellet. This is going to be moving quite a bit slower. See what happens here. Wow, that thing must have been moving extraordinarily slow, because it's kind of just falling short of the target even. Let's try it again here, see what happens. Wow, it's just chunking it out there. I could throw a pellet faster than that, but just for the heck of it, because I really would like to check some velocities on this. Come on, chronograph, give me just one here. 85 feet per second with a 16.2 grain pellet. 6.7 grain Predator GTO pellet here. This should fly a bit faster. Now this is going to be a lead-free alloy pellet here. Let's see if we could hit anywhere near the advertised velocities of 395 feet per second. We got no reading on that one. That one definitely flew much flatter than the last ones were. Let's try this again. (332 feet per second). Unfortunately, they are just not very accurate. Really, the sights kill this gun as far as any accuracy is going to be going, but we got something that can help us with that here in a minute. 332, and actually that just went through the same hole as the first one, so let's see how these do. Higher, let's try again. 330 feet per second. Chronograph. Let's shoot one more here, and we'll call it at that. So we did not reach our advertised 385 feet per second, but we'll try some accuracy next. So let's find out how well the safety here works. So I'm gonna go ahead and cock that and finger off of that grip back there. Let's see what happens. Well, it seems to work pretty well. It seems to definitely work pretty well. Let's try to release it now. Alright, very good. So you're getting from the breech to the end where the barrel actually comes, which is right here. You're getting a 9-inch barrel. You're getting an overall length of 17 inches. I mean, it is a nice looking pistol. It definitely is on the very low powered side. Alright, so unfortunately one thing is that this gun only has the open sights available for it. This is not a real Picatinny rail across the top or anything, so you will not have anywhere to mount an external optic if you want to run something on this. I believe I'm going to actually put a real Picatinny rail right up here on the top that I can actually work from, and then that way I'll be able to stick me a red dot sight or something at least that close up on there. But aside from that, that is something that is going to be a big downfall. Alright guys, so I just came out of the shop and I have fastened us now a nice length of Picatinny rail all the way across top. And the reason why I did it so long is in case I felt like maybe sticking on a pistol scope or something like that on it, long eye relief scope right here on the top. Today I just opted for this red dot sight so that we can kind of just see how this holds up. I don't expect that it'll do too well. There's going to be a lot of recoil going off on this little optic, but we'll see how well it holds up. Aside from that, we are ready to go now with an optic. I guess if I wanted to, I could, you know, re-put myself some kind of rear and front fixed sight on there, foldable fixed sight. But again, we're just going to run it with the red dot. Do a little bit of accuracy testing. What I have is I have some Crossman Premier Hollow Point 7.9 grain, the Predator GTO in a 6.79 grain, and I believe this is a 7 grain. These are the Gammo Raptor Gold pellets. So let's go ahead. I got the Caldwell Precision turret set up. And let's go ahead and try to make us a couple groups out at 15 yards. Okay, so I have set up a target right here at 15 yards. We now have the red dot sight here set up on the Umarex Markpoint, which even a small length of Picatinny rail across the top would have been nice to see from Umarex, something other than these fixed sights. Now, I know that the idea was to keep the price point on this thing really low, for it to market towards kind of the everyday consumer, so that maybe everybody could have a chance to get their hands on something like this. So I like that budget friendly take on things. However, there are some things that kind of just blow it out of the water and make it useless at that point. So let's see. Got the sight on. This thing is not zeroed at all for this pistol, so I'm not sure where this is going to go. But let's see if I can't make anything on the target down there. It's a little bit difficult with the heavy trigger on here, but we're going to see what we can do. Alright, still on target there. Let's do the typical 5-shot group here and then move on to the next pellet. We are still on target down there. The rail is holding up nicely. The optic looks like it's fine. I haven't noticed any major jostling going on. This is pretty low recoil for a brake barrel, since it is just a pistol. It has a smaller piston, a gas ram piston inside of it, I imagine. So so far it seems to be doing alright. Let's see what happens. Alright, this is our 5-shot group. Let's take a look at it. So we have a 5-shot group here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we are looking at about 2.5, 3-inch group out here at 15 yards. I'm going to go ahead and cover these spots right back up here so that we can move over to our next style of pellet that we're going to try out of this, which I believe we're just going to go ahead and try the Predator GTO. That's the lead-free alloy pellet, and see how those perform now. Okay, so we are going to attempt us a group now with the Predator GTO lead-free. This is 6.79 grain pellet, and we're going to go again with the red dot sight. It seems to be working rather well as far as holding up, and I believe it's holding anyways true to where it needs to be. So let me go ahead and make this group, and we'll take a look at it here. Okay, that one seemed much flatter. We are on target here. Just going to shoot 5 shots real quick. Okay, that was a dead center shot on the target there. I think that this is helping a lot with the velocities being a bit higher. Every bit of flattening that trajectory is working for sure in this pellet pistol's advantage. And we'll take one more shot here, and then I will show you the group. Alright, let's take a look at our group. Alright, so we got a much tighter group here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4 of them grouped pretty much right here. I would say under 1.25 inches. And all together, maybe a 2-inch group at 15 yards. Definitely acceptable if you're trying to plinky some cans and other fun things. So, not too bad. Let's see how this next lead-free pellet performs. All right, here we go. We are going to move to our last pellet before we maybe attempt to try some of the heavier stuff just to see how it performs. I don't reckon that these shooting any slower, since they are shooting out of a rifled barrel. It's not going to help very much with the accuracy, but we're going to find out. All right, first shot here with the Gamo Raptor Gold pellets. 15 yards. Let's make us a group. First one is on target down there. On target and pretty close to our first shot there. On target. Not sure, it looks like that one may have deviated off to the low on the right. We're going to find out here in just a few minutes, so let's keep shooting. Yeah, that one hit target too, but it looked like it flew up quite a ways. Shoot us one more here. Alright, I felt pretty good about all the squeezes there. So, we have our last group here, which may actually have been our worst group. But, let's go take a look at it. Last group with the Gamo Raptor Golds was just not a great group. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not sure if this is the 5th one or if it's one of these shots just outside here, but either way, they were just kind of all over the place. So I would say so far the Predator GTO pellets definitely were grouping the tightest as far as with their higher velocities. Now those are a very pricey pellet, so you know, good luck spending all that money on those pellets to get all your accuracy out of there. You saw the accuracy with the 7.9 grain pellet, which is still probably good enough to plink a couple cans and things out to this distance, but I think we should kind of change gears now and find out how some of these heavier pellets shoot. So I have the JSB Hades 10.3. Also have some slugs out here, the JSB Knockout. This is a 10.3 grain slug. And we have the 13.43 grain Beast out here again, or Monster Diablo rather. We're going to go ahead and start right here with the Hades, because they actually had some pretty decent velocities, given the fact that they are the heavier pellet. It seemed like the 10.3 grain pellet was had enough seal inside the barrel that it was sealing enough air for velocity there, but it wasn't too much or too little. So let's try this one right here, see if we can't make us a fresh group. Okay, that one's on target, but just barely. It's low and left, so hopefully these next few shots will stay pretty consistent and we'll get them right there on paper. Okay, felt like it was really close to the other one. Alright, let's go see if we can see a group out there. Alright, so surprisingly we actually had a really good group, it looks like, right here. I'm not sure exactly what all were there before, but I know that a couple of these are fresh here. So we had 2 in the same hole, and maybe 1 or 2 even close to the same hole. So we'll put us another point of aim up here, and then see if we can't make us a group on the actual target here for a little bit more visibility. Alright, so we're going to try it with the same pellet, the JSB Hades here, and find out what kind of group we're really making. I'm going to hold on this new little dot of red that I have out here on this board and see what kind of group we're getting here. Okay, that's on pretty much center target, I believe. There's our second one. I'm just going to do some little 5-shot groups here. Wow, you know, this thing may be making a very accurate group out there right now. I kind of thought I wasn't really sure where these shots are going, but it looks like we've chewed a hole up pretty much in the middle of this board. Let's see. Wow. I'm going to put one more out there before we go and look at this group, because to be honest with you, I'm rather impressed at the group with these pellets. Wow. I think that's a pretty impressive group. Let's go have a look at it. Well, look at that, guys. That's all 6 shots, I believe, right there. 6 shots, and we are, I mean, we're much less than an inch right here. We're probably 3/4 of an inch, and we got them all, I mean, pretty close to one hole right there. I was just holding here this time because we had our group drop down to here before. So from there to there, so it's still holding pretty much the same, as you can see. And yeah, we've got a really accurate group. So the FX or the JSB Hades, I apologize, 10.3 grain pellet, so far hands down is shooting the absolute best. All right, so we got a couple of reactive targets out there. At 15 yards, we have a small rat silhouette target, as well as a little, I believe it's about 2.5 inch spinner target there. Let's see what happens. Oh, I pulled that one. Running out of these Hades pellets here. I may have a 10 in the shop somewhere. All right, so we hit the little 2.5 inch spinner. Let's see if we can hit the small rat silhouette above it. This is a much smaller of a target. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, we hit them just fine. Let's go back to the round spinner on the ground there. Okay, we hit that just fine. And let's go back to the rat one more time here. Oh yeah, we hit them just fine. Alright guys, well, there you have it. Out here having a little bit of fun with the Umarex Markpoint. It's a pretty interesting break barrel pistol. It's definitely on the low end of the power spectrum, so to speak. You know, it's supposed to be small and lightweight. I believe that's what they were just trying to go for. And to be honest with you, it is a fun little piece to shoot around. I've had quite a bit of fun just kind of out here doing this video, messing around with it for the first time. It breaks incredibly easy, so this is very nice. It feels good. It's not, I don't believe it's even for a young shooter that's going to be too much to actually bring down into ready, into battery, so to speak. But other than that, I think it's nice. The grip safety here does work really well, which, you know, I'm not really sure how I feel about the grip safety. I kind of find it unnecessary. The safety is very stiff, getting it off and on safety there. So, you know, for a smaller shooter, somebody with smaller hands, you know, that may be a little bit of an issue, but not bad. And that may just over time, you know, the more you put it on and off safety, kind of work itself a little bit looser. Again, I did have to put this Picatinny rail on top here so that I could have me an optic up there, but overall, still not bad. You're going to have a little bit of trouble, I believe, with the open sights here. The blade is just really large, and the rear sight is just it's so wide. The window is just so wide on it that it kind of doesn't make sense. Other than that, overall, I think it's a really cool piece. I hope you all enjoyed this video, bringing you some information about the Umarex Markpoint. We got some chronograph numbers, we got some accuracy, we got some distance testing, a little bit of plinking around here, and that pretty much wraps it up. So if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, guys, give it a thumbs up so that we can push this out into the algorithm and more folks can see videos like this. Subscribe if you want to see more from this crazy old circus, guys, and as always, I will see you on the next one.